everybody, it's Rory from ANSgear, and we've got a cool product up on the table today. This is the brand new Halo Pro shell kit right here. So this is a brand new shell kit for all those people out there with their Halos that wish they had a shell kit that was toolless to open and get inside and clean and maintenance or whatever you needed to do. If you have a Halo out there that uses the 4 AA battery pack, then you can use this shell and you can port all of your internals out of your old shell and into the new shell and have it be toolless. So we're going to get into it. We're going to look at it. Here's the new box right here. Halo 2. Look at this beauty. Beauty right there. Halo 2 Pro. I mean, really the box is just a box. So let's open it up and you can see what you see. So here we go. So this is our shell right here. Get a look at that right there. It does come with a speed feed on it. And this is the same speed feed as the Triad right here. Now there is a new speed feed that just came out for the Triad, which will obviously fit this loader as well. That has the plastic fingers and the springs rather than the rubber, because this has the rubber fingers on it right here, which can wear over time or get loose over time or droopy over time, whatever it happens to be. So you can replace that with the sprung plastic ones, which won't ever get droopy or loose. It does come with the rain cover as well, so if you wanted to use it as a real lid, you can do that and play in the rain or inclement weather, whatever that happens to be. But I mean, that's just the lid. People are really focused on the toolless disassembly of the shell. So it's going to come apart like this. The way you're going to see it when you get it out of the box, you're going to have this back plate right here, which is the button or the release, which will poke through this little hole right here, which will allow you to snap the lid up and open. But you do have to assemble it, and we'll get into that in a minute and how to put this together. Because of the way the board and the plate on the back from your original Halo needs to slide in, this can't be installed already. You need to install it as a unit, as a set, so it goes down in there and lines up perfectly. Otherwise, you might break your board. So here's our bottom section. It has our Velcro loop. This is where our battery tray is going to sit down inside of here. It's going to hold our 4 AA batteries. We've got our little notch at the front that's going to hold the top shell in place, and then our middle tray, which is going to go in there. Now the middle tray will lock into this piece on the back once we install it, and this will then lock down as well. Inside the top section, you see this little red part right there? That is a little tab that slides up and down, which will lock the release button so that you can't accidentally hit it and open it, or it can't accidentally open itself. And you access that from the top. Pop the lid open, and then this will slide up and down right here and will allow you to lock or unlock the shell. Get inside there. So in this little baggie, it just has this little locking plate, and it has a little Phillips head screw right here. And this is important because the screw is going to go in through this little hole right here. So it's going to come up through the bottom tray, and this is going to sit inside here, and it's going to go into this and lock it in place. But once you've got everything together, in theory, you're not going to be taking that apart unless you were pulling the board out, and then you might need to take it apart. So there we have it. Here's our parts right here. Pretty cool. Does have a hole for our rip drive if you want to use the rip drive. We are going to use a rip drive, so that is important for us right there. But people kind of want to just see how this thing works. So what I do have is a Halo 2. It does have batteries in it. So we'll be able to put it all together, and we'll show you how to put it together and then open it up. So first thing we need to do is disassemble our Halo. And again, if you have a Halo 2 or Halo B, Reloader B, anything that has the 4 AA set in there, you can use this. So first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to get my door open. I'm going to get my batteries out. Disconnect them. I'm going to set them off to the side. And then I'm going to pull all my screws out. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, and then this one for the battery door. All right, so we got that one. It's going to come off of there. And then all these screws, we're just going to move them up to the top right here. Sometimes they're all going to come out, sometimes they won't. Whatever. We basically just want to get the insides out. So once I've got my screws, I kind of open my lid because that closes these two halves, and then I come where the battery door or the battery compartment was, and I kind of spread that open a little bit, and then I come to the back, and I'm just going to wiggle that apart. Put my screws in here so I don't lose them. I'm going to leave my lid in there. I don't need to move that here. I'm going to grab my back plate and my board, and I'm going to wiggle them out together, and I'll show you why you need to be careful with that in just a second. So on our plate and our back board here, the on-off button is right here. You can see it, it sticks out, but what it does is it sticks inside this plastic plate on the back right here, so that when you push on the outside of this little plate, it activates the button right here. Because the button itself sticks inside the plate, there's a recessed area in this plate, and it actually goes inside there. If you were to just grab the plate and try to slide the plate out by itself, you will snap the button off. So these two things need to come out together or go in together. There is a little bit of play, a little bit of leeway, so you can kind of finagle it, but as a rule, they need to come out together. Otherwise, you run a very high chance of breaking the button off. You break the button off, the loader doesn't work, you need to buy a new board. So when we go to put this assembly in, we're kind of going to try to do it as a unit, because this is going to go like this. All right, it's kind of going to be a sandwich, and it's going to slide down into the slots that you see on here. We've got one slot for our board, which is this inside slot right here, or the furthest back slot. We have the middle section where this is going to go down inside like that. So the board slot is here, the middle section for the locking mechanism, and then the outside slot right here, this is going to be for the back plate right there. All right, so the way I did this is I kind of just got this in place right here, sort of, right? So I took this, I'm holding it like that, take my plate, got my plate up here, and then I've got, or not my plate, my locking mechanism, and then I've got my plate. And then by holding them all together, I'm just going to kind of make sure that everything is lining up. And it does take a little bit of finessing. You don't want to push anything in, you don't want to force anything in. I got my, see right now I've got my board in line. I'm going to move this in line. I've got my plate. I'm going to put that in the right spot. And then I'm going to slide everything. I'm looking to make sure, ooh, my back plate jumped out of its slot. You can see that it's kind of angled in right here. I don't want that. So I'm going to bring everything kind of back up so I can get that plate in the right spot. Come on. There we go. There we go. Almost. higher here. Board come up just a little bit. All right. And then push everything down. So there we go. We've got our board in its housing, our locking plate in its housing, and our back plate fully down inside. And it should be nice and flush with the back, and we should have good activation on the button when we're pushing on the button right there. And it should all neatly fit just right like that. So just give yourself a minute to put it in there. Don't force it, and then go for it. Then this tray will slide down inside there. Now, one thing that I forgot to do, which I just realized that I forgot to do, is pull the rip drive off the bottom of my tray. So now it won't fit through. So I've got to go back. I've got to pull everything back up and out. And we're going to do it all again because I forgot to take my rip drive wheel off. Now there's probably a bunch of you screaming at me. What about your rip drive wheel? Well, that happens sometimes. I forgot it. So I'm going to pull the pin, or the C-clip off the back, lift that up, and guess what? Now we got to do it again. So, board. In its groove. Starting in its groove. Right there. Back plate. Or secondary plate, I should say. In its groove. Back plate. In its groove. And again, I got it in the wrong little section there. Come on out. All right, let's try again. One potato. Two potato. And three potato. There we go. Good button action. Now inside here, these four little nubs that you see sticking out, they have little spots where they slide right into their plastic housings. Boop, 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 boop. So those go down inside there. And now my rip drive is sticking out the bottom, or my rip drive post is sticking out the bottom. Now we can grab our batteries. We can plug them in. Now this is slightly wider in one direction than the other. So the battery housing, or the little tray that's in the bottom, will only fit the batteries in one direction. So if you go to set this down in here and it doesn't fit right, that's because you've got it on the wrong side. So for this one, I'm just going to flip it like that, and it fits nicely right there. Now I'm going to make sure that my Velcro goes underneath my wires, and I can secure the harness in the battery door, or the battery harness is securely in there. It's not going anywhere. And then my wires right here, I'm just going to make sure I tuck them down in, and they're out of the way, so that when I set my plate down, I'm not pinching them in any way. All right, let's grab our plate. And our plate just kind of has a little notch in the front right here, which is going to slide under here. And that's going to go in, and it locks right under this little lip right here. So there's a little lip right there, and it locks right under it. So if I just push it forward, I'll be able to lift it up. But when I set it down, it snaps underneath that so that it can't come out. So it won't fall out of there. From this point, once I've got that locked in, I'm going to take my screw. I'm going to come around the back side. I'm going to screw this together so that it doesn't come apart, and my back plate can't slide up. All right, now I've got that. Now I'm going to come in with my shell, my top shell. sure that's open. I'm gonna have my lever up, my unlock position. I'm gonna hook my nose on, and then on the back side, I'm gonna push in a little bit, and then I can just snap that back down. Like that. And then when I wanna lock it, now that's locked. I can't push this button in now to release this and go from there. I'm on. You see that spinning around right there? I can put my rip drive back on if I wanted to. And I'm ready to go. Pop that open. If I need to get inside my loader, flip that up, push in my button, and I can slide that off. Now, one thing I will tell you, like the Triad, this front section right here is not a hinge. So when you unlock it, let me turn this off so it's not running in my hands right there. When you unlock this and you lift this up, it is not meant to just go up like that. You might break that tab off on the front right there, so just be careful. Once you lift up, it's more of a kind of slide forward and off kind of thing. I did break a Triad when I first got one, and that was the reason. I thought you just hinged open rather than came apart. But it looks like they've modified this one where that actually won't happen, because I'm trying to see if I can do that, and I can't. So just be careful as you're taking it off. Once it unlocks, you can just pop it off like that. It doesn't look like it will snap. Like, yeah, I'm trying to, and it won't do that. It unhinges itself no matter what. So take it off however you need to right there. There you have it. A brand new shell for your Halo 2, your Reloader B, your Halo B with the 4 battery pack, whatever it happens to be. As long as your Halo had the 4 battery system in it, it'll drop right in right there. Beautiful little setup right here. Now I don't know, and I guess I would have to try if this will work with the eye sensor Halos. I'd have to see. I don't know if there's enough room to fit that down in there, because it did have eye sensors that went into the breech down here. So that's something I would have to check into. So your sound activated loader setups, I know that will drop right in there. It does say on the back, upgrades most Halo 2 and Reloader Bs only works with 4 battery pack models right there. So the original Halo A's, the Halo B with the 6 batteries, and the I might not work on there, but definitely the Halo 2s and the Reloader Bs will fit in there, no problem. But here you got it, brand new Halo Pro shells installed, ready to go. Get yours today at ANSgear.com.